Hello there, ladies, gentlemen, and unicorns, and congratulations, Frank, on winning the pop quiz. I don't know quite how the scoring works. I think it's a combination of how many questions you got right and how many questions you partook in. But I'm not quite sure that the algorithm is super watertight. So nevertheless, congratulations and welcome everyone. I'm so glad that you could make it 2 hours before the big announcement of what horrible what horrible theme will be among us. There probably will be horrible teams among us, but those people don't know it just yet. They will find out over the course of the weekend, I'm sure. So yeah, how are you doing? I'm pumped for Ludum this time. It has probably to do with the fact that I had a lot of coffee today and had, I think, way too much chocolate and sugar today. So for now I'm buzzing and I'm feeling the excitement and also that my pants are getting somehow tighter. I don't know how this is happening. I have the odd suspicion that during the night some little creatures just creep into my wardrobe and just make everything tighter. I don't know, especially around Christmas, by the way. Talking about Christmas, today is October 1st, which means every other comedy show has now in their monologue the words pumpkin spice as their punchline, and so do I, because this is a meta joke. I don't know where that came from. So let's have a look at the chat and what I missed. And so many people here. Thank you so much for dropping by, everyone. Really, really appreciate it. And VRG Lab says, Fallout is my favorite game. Fallout never changes. Which it does, clearly. And VRG Lab is also here. Frank says, I got more wrongs I shouldn't have won, I think. In the end, I really think it's just the amount of questions you partake in and how many of those you get right. I think I coded this up like 15 minutes before I started the stream, so I'm not quite sure how airtight it is. Clearly, the formatting of the pop quiz end screen is improvable. VRG Lab says, I'm excited because I will be in it with you. Exactly. It's something where we're all sitting in the same boat. We all have the same problems, probably individually, but around at the same time. And then you drop by on ldjam.com and like 15 minutes after the theme announcement, some people go in there and post, oh, look at this is my first prototype, what do you think? And I just want to kill them. But that's not what I'm going to do, because I'm very professional, and also I don't know where these people live, so I don't do it, and I really try to come up with something of my own and start to hate it. And you've watched the documentaries, you know how it goes. Theme awaits, exactly. And Hadik, CZ, are you are you Czech? Probably, I don't know. I'm hyped. Last week I was at Salzburg, Asturias, nice town. Oh, thank you so much for visiting Salzburg. It's beautiful in the autumn, unless you, of course, you walk in an alley where there are so many chestnut trees and one hits you on the head, and this is usually when I think, that's fall for me this year. Lady Mr. Leaf says, I'm oddly scared. It's my first time doing it without a framework. Ooh, okay, I can understand this, because a framework, it's called a framework because it's something you can hold on to, but if you don't have a framework, I think you're just doing pure JavaScript, right? With everything, all the framework essentially is your own. So as for myself, I don't quite know what engine I will go for. Sometimes people ask me, hey, what engine do you think will you make your game this time? And I always say, I don't know. It really depends on the theme. So from my end, it's I know a little bit of Unity. I know a lot of Game Maker. I think I know a lot of Twitch, I want to say Twine. And I started also with running my own JavaScript thing. So who knows? Maybe I will go for RPG Maker. Who knows? I have no idea. It all depends on the theme and the idea that I have, or at least the idea that I settled for. And then everything is in the cards. And Lady Misleaf is suddenly thankful she lives far away from Phil. So you're planning to have like 50 minutes after the announcement already a prototype to show where I just look at it and think, this is so good. Because this is usually what is a big hit to my personal motivation or demotivation, is looking at what people post on ldjam.com, especially when you don't have an idea. Because I'm super hesitant to look at what other people come up with, because it feels like stealing ideas. Because when you're desperate and you can see what other people have and you think, this is really good, maybe I could do this as well, maybe I could do this even better, at least better looking. So I thought to myself, no, because it influences me too much to see how other people interpret the theme. So only when I'm pretty much centered on an idea where I feel, I've trapped myself now with this idea, I shackled myself to this idea, so there's no turning back, then I allow myself to see how other people are doing. So yeah. Yep, check, says Hadik. So thank you so much. Hello neighbor, essentially. Thank you so much for dropping by. And Lady Misleaf also says, but I have some base code to do a few things like a grid-based puzzle game and top-down movement. I think with that, especially with top-down movement, I think this is something that's applicable to many themes. It feels like there's this Game Boy Studio or something. I don't know what's it called, but it's like Game Maker but for Game Boy games. But essentially, of course, it's quite limited. That everything looks like a Pokemon game, but after all, I mean, you have top-down movement, you have NPCs you can interact with and talk to, and you got when you look at this, a certain flag is set, and this essentially, especially if you're doing something that's more narrative-based, that's all you need. All you need, apart from that, is maybe throw in some weird mechanic, and there you go. So I think top-down movement or grid-based puzzle is, I mean, this is quite clever. This is quite clever. So what's the plan, says VRGLib? What are we doing until the announcement? Panic? Well, I think it's a bit too early to panic, but I thought that I'd just share with you some of my ideas, or, well, not ideas, tools and workflows of how I manage to get my games done most of the time, and what my learnings were and what worked for me and what did not work for me. So maybe you can take something out of that works for you, or even find something that you can modify to fit your workflow. And even if you don't find anything, you can still chuckle at my ways of feeling very clever of how I organize my things. Frank says, I haven't officially decided yet what I'll use, but I think we all know. So I think a text adventure is in the cards, right? I'm thinking, don't say it, I have a vision in Form 6, I would assume. I might have an idea at best at that time, says Lady Misleaf. Yeah, I mean, 50 minutes after the announcement to have an idea is quite good. Hadik says, main goal, do not leave the house before good idea. This is why you go grocery shopping, and especially shop for snacks and goodies before the theme announcement, because you need something to give you energy, essentially. Techbox North, or of course, Lady Misleaf says, with more polish, right? Do we have anyone from Poland here? Because then I can do my strained more polished games joke. Yeah, this didn't even warrant this drum jingle. Yeah. Techbox North says, what theme do you fear the most in the final vote? I don't know, because I haven't voted, because I did this the last time, where I thought I'm not going to vote because people who vote ruin democracy. No, wait, that's completely wrong. Don't put this out, take this out of context. No, as for myself, I slaughtered like 400 themes or so, and also did this stupid poetry slam tweet. You probably have seen, some of you, and that's it, because I felt more, it would have been more interesting to start with a little generator, like a website generator, where you just could say, make me a Ludum Dare theme. And I had more fun coming up with the grammar for this theme generator, and then didn't really vote. And I realized that because I have a hard time when I want to vote, because there are two things. When you read something as a suggestion for a theme, you think, the first thing goes to, is this a good theme, relatively speaking? But there is this little voice, and with me it's not a little voice, it's a very loud voice that says, okay, if you look at this, could you do something with Game Maker to fit that theme? And I always go, it's very egotistical and egomaniac in a sense, because every theme I just look through the lens of my personal aptitude of how I would interpret this and how fast I feel I could come up with an idea for this. But of course, it's not a good theme when something is like I don't know, a pixel game where a pony kicks someone in the head. I would say, yeah, already got a good idea for this, maybe something that I can already use. So yeah, at least this is it for me. So I didn't vote, so I have no preferences so far. I only have this tingle in my spine that I know, theme, it's gotta suck, right? It's gotta suck. And VRG Labs, as my main goal is to not make a shit game, like always, lol. I mean, that's on one hand, of course, nobody wants to make a shit game, but then again, I feel it could be a bit liberating if you say, okay, I'm not having a good idea, so let's make this the most shit game that I can. And then you start thinking creatively in completely different ways, and then you put everything down to make this the most shittiest game there ever was, and then you maybe find something. If you just invert those three things, maybe, hey, it could be actually quite fun. So maybe this could quick start your creativity. Lady Mistleaf says, it's all my own code though, that makes me proud. Coming up with something from nothing essentially is super gratifying. I think, at least for me, this is what I really enjoy about programming, is there was nothing there before, and then you cleverly manipulated a system that all has its very specific and own rules, that is the programming language, and somehow you managed to squeeze out something that does exactly or mostly what you want it to do. And I feel like with Game Maker, for me, this lets me to program or prototype the fastest, because I know a lot of the quirks. But I also started, inspired by you, Lady Mistleaf, I started with doing my own JavaScript Game Maker micro version. Now I just got game objects and sprites working, and yeah, it feels super gratifying if you know everything is your own code, everything asterisk, and the asterisk says whatever I managed to nick from Stack Overflow. Frank said like 6 minutes ago, I'm sorry, I'm just too slow for the chat. We know Phil won't have decided which system to use 15 minutes in, or have any idea what sort of game he'll be making, but he will already be polishing. Exactly. And this brings me right to my first thing. My first recommendation is, wherever you go or plan on going during the jam, have something to take notes, to scribble, to just to even if you don't quite know what you're doing, maybe you only have this faintest idea of it could be a top-down anything. Even if you don't have an idea, maybe what helps me is when I just scribble, my mind just goes wild, essentially, because it's one of those tasks that are not very taxing, but also not something like doing calculus or something where it's really occupying your CPU power, but it's just enough to get your mind started. And this is why I got doodle paper and of course my Pixel Prophecy pad pretty much everywhere when there's a jam, so that even when I don't know what to do, I can just scribble with something. When it's a top-down game, maybe you need walls, you can already scribble some wall tiles, and maybe from there you can make some new connections mentally. Oh no, NPCs I don't quite have yet, but I could probably Jimmy rig it. Exactly, this is Ludum Dare, right? It's Jimmy rigging something. And this is another tip that I have. One that personally I'm not very good at following, but my tip is hard coding is your friend. You're prototyping, you don't have a lot of time, and it's not really the best. Your time is not spent the best when you try to come up with a super modular system and something that reads XMLs or JSON files and also does some error corrections on JSON files, maybe if the input is faulty or something. Yeah, this I've walked into that trap myself sometimes because I'm a fan of making tools, or the tools help you or error correct stuff, or at least tell you what's wrong with the input. Anyway, the thing is sometimes you don't want to start with a huge map for localizing strings, because it would make localization perhaps easier if this actually becomes a full game. No, you really want to hard code in quite a lot because I mean, in the end it's just a gem game, and when you do things over, you should start from scratch. I know what I'm saying. You probably, if you develop a gem game you from a prototype and then you make it into a full game, you should start from scratch, but you won't do it. And I just had this flashback from my game Finesweeper, which also started out as a Minesweeper prototype, and the main room where the entire game plays is still called in my code Room Proto, because it was my prototype code. So yeah, take this with a pitcher of salt. Virg Lab says that would make anyone proud, Lady Mistleaf. Exactly. Mr. Julius is here. Speaking of polished things, hello, thank you so much. The most polished person currently in the chat. Great to have a polisher among us. Thank you so much, Mr. Julius. Lady Miss Liv says, I only participated in the final round and it's not as dire as I thought. Oh, so maybe we're in for a surprise where I think, yeah, the theme, it's okay. Could be. I don't quite think that it will be. The thing that unites us in LD is that the theme is bad. What divides us is which themes would be good. Exactly. Yeah, I think exactly. We all know that the current theme that was chosen was probably the worst, or one of the worst themes that could be chosen. But what is a good theme, nobody knows, or everyone has their own opinions on, and they wildly differ. I think, yeah. Lady Miss Liv says, I don't know, I will always remember LD39 and Phil's reaction to the theme. What was LD39 and my reaction to the theme? Was it where I was just bumping my head in the hopes that an idea would tumble out? And Sir Onion Knight is here. Thank you so much, Sir Onion Knight, for gracing us with your presence. This is gonna be my first jam, and I think I'm gonna get stumped by the brainstorming boss. I would say it's a mini boss, but there's no shame in getting stumped by the mini boss that says inspiration. Techbox North, my theme suggestions, you are the player, didn't make the cut. Yeah, it was too weird. I mean, you are the player. Maybe player is key or something, or you control the player. Maybe something like this could have worked, but yeah, this sounds weird. Wrap around from bad to good. Yeah, I mean, if you got a cringe overflow, then maybe something is so cringe or so bad that it becomes good again. Ha! Programmer humor. No wonder the other kids don't want to play with me. I'm going to, as I won't have time this weekend, says Inkdio21. I don't remember which LD it was, says Frank, but the best theme-related thing was Phil upvoting a theme once and recording that on video. What a mistake! And then when that theme was picked a few years later, he suddenly hated it. Exactly, I mean, people change, themes change, but if a person changes but the theme stays the same, is it still the same theme to them? Yeah, that's your homework. That's your homework. And Sorceress is here. Hey Phil and his band of unicorns. They are all piled up, ready to hate on the theme because that's how I've educated them. Brainwashing. Lady Mistleaf, I see you essentially have particles. Particles? I have particles. Probably this was like 7 minutes ago. I'm just catching up here with the chat, and the automated unicorn is just spamming. Frank spent 47 hours working on an AI that generates games, then spent an hour building, or didn't spend, just saying, spent 47 hours on working on an AI that generates games, and then spent an hour building a quick game because the AI doesn't work. I think it comes down to that. I was very close in one Ludum jam. I don't know which one it was, but I recorded the line where I said, I wasn't quite sure if I should code up a tool that helps me make levels. And then I realized that it was a horrible idea. Probably I shouldn't be doing this 6 hours before the jam ends. So yeah, exactly. This is something you either learn the hard way, or you think you should have learned it the hard way, but you still do it. It's all, there's this saying that goes, to preach wine or to preach water and drink wine. And I think this is probably, today's stream will be among those things where I spew very good advice that I don't follow or can in the end manage to follow myself. But at least you've heard it. I've made myself hopefully vocal about things you shouldn't be doing. And then you can watch the post-mortem where I'm very ashamed and very embarrassed, but I'm doing those things where I said you shouldn't be doing those. For example, start with a new engine that you haven't tried before. Things like those. That is just software development, says Virgilab. To all of you, what would be your favorite theme? Oh, this is interesting. On-off, says Sorceress. On-off. Pretty much, this is... if the theme would be on-off, it's like... Do you know when you have those writing assignments at school, where the theme is... You already have an idea what you want to write, but then it becomes more about trying to justify how what you've written fits the theme. And I feel like on-off is something where I could say, yeah, it's on-off, it's based on binary code, so it's on-off and enjoy my MOBA. Running out of power, oh my god, it's not shit. Yeah, exactly, thank you, that was it. Well, running out of power, this was a nice theme. In the current list, I suspect delivery is workable. I hate the others. And Sir Flopper redeemed. Unicorn, thank you so much for your redemption like 4 minutes ago. I'm catching up with the chat. I'm catching up. Thank you for chatting. Summoning. Mouse cursor is on the way. Summoning, for me, I have somewhat of an idea. Summoning. Interesting. Theme always sucks, says Adik. Exactly. Phil 2018. Phil of 2018. He has no idea what he's talking about. Still not even a passable programmer in any sense. Don't listen to Phil from 2018. And right now, probably don't listen to Phil from 2021, because Phil from 2024 will have some very different opinions on Phil today. My god, so many time travels. Let's just hope that future Phil doesn't pop in. How does the automated unicorn know me, says Soltakama. And yeah, first of all, thank you so much for lurking and now being called out by the automated unicorn. And the automated unicorn just gets from the Twitch API, I think, the action of a player joining, and then just when there's a new player a new person, a new chatter, a new audience member who's joined, and it's not in a list, then it will greet this person. But I think the list is not working, so brace yourselves for being greeted multiple times by the automated unicorn, because it is adorable but stupid. It was programmed by me, so I mean, what can you expect? Lady Misleaf, okay, particles, your JavaScript blocks that fly every which way that look like a particle engine, which I think is super cool. Thank you so much. No, every block is its own game object, but I just spawned like with a loop like 50 objects, gave them random initial trajectory, and that's it. I'm thinking about doing particle systems in JavaScript because I want to try out coding a ring buffer for all the particles and doing this in an array or something. But yes, so far what I spent the last week on in my little JavaScript engine framework is mostly sprites, where you can have a sprite, and this sprite can have a different anchor point. So when you draw a sprite at a certain anchor point and scale it up or rotate it around this anchor point, well, it will rotate and scale around this very anchor point that you specify. And I'm super happy that also the bounding box, the collision also rotates with around the pivot and also with the scaling and so on, which was, I copied a lot of code from Stack Overflow until I found out, doing vector cross products or something and doing, the thing is about collisions. If you want to have a collision in a bounding box, I had this brain fart where I thought, okay, so if I check if a point lies to the left of every line, and if I just look at are all the signs the same, then it should be good. But of course, this only works on triangles, not squares or rectangles. And it took me embarrassingly long to realize that. Then I just split it up into 2 triangles, and ta-da! It worked. So, this is what I consider spare time. Delivery equals maternity ward arcade action. I have no idea what this means, but this sounds interesting. Maternity ward arcade action. Delivery. Oh, okay, now I get it. Delivery. Good one. I hope whatever the theme is, you all come up with a usable idea. Oh, this is so nice, InkDeo21. This is really nice. If you got any ideas, please share them. Nice twist, Sorceress. And Jokoho 482 says, the real pre-LD jam question is, Windows already updated and the blue screen has already happened? To tell you the truth, I actually updated Windows like 10 minutes before this stream. And what did it want to do? Of course, it wanted to reboot the system because it had a beautiful shiny new feature update to Windows, probably some other way where it tries to force Edge onto me as default browser somewhere. Sneaky bastards. But no blue screen of death so far. Let's hope it stays that way. I mean, since I switched over to AMD, I'm having weird other problems, but no, I think just one blue screen in 2 years so far. So knocking on wood. TechBox North, I have invented a new type of AI, artificial incompetence. Now we can create virtual politicians. Really, I mean, artificial incompetence if the real is not enough. And the Train 27 says, I'm leaving to get dinner, but wanted to stop by and say hi. How long will you be streaming tonight? I will be streaming. First of all, you're probably out at dinner already, so enjoy your meal. And I will be streaming right up to the announcement. Then I will give you my first impressions of the announcement. Please let me not forget to start the camera, because this will be recorded post-mortem, as it always will be. And then I will just hunker down and get into full idea creation / self-deprecation / frustration mode, and we will see how things go from there. But thank you so much for dropping by. And we all love Automated Unicorn. So drinking beer and listening to Phil So Prepare is perfect, says Neo Horo. Thank you so much. So I'm your chill stream. That's very nice. Probably I should put on some chill music, right? But with all these copyright things and DMCA takedown things, and now Twitch is somehow affiliated with Warner Music, or was it Universal Music? I'm not quite sure who managing music things, but the only music that I'm comfortable playing during a stream is my own, and it might not be fitting, but you know what? Let's give it a try, and let me know if the audio is too loud in the background or if it's just annoying. So let me continue with the chat. Hey, you heard that Windows 11 update comes in 20 minutes? Oh dear. You know what this means? If there's a Windows 11 update, I need to get Windows 11. I mean, it can't break everything, right? Right? This was Windows 8 for me, where I had Windows 8, the 64-bit version. I was the earliest adopter, and I think I adopted in springtime, and I think I've told this story before, and I could print in autumn, because nobody provided drivers for the new operating system, because the manufacturers weren't quite sure if it was catching on, and also my printer manufacturer didn't really think that it would be something to invest time in, and so I just printed where people still had Windows XP. So let's find some music. Galaxy map. This sounds nice. This is some very chill music. It's probably too loud. So please, if the music is too loud, please tell me, and I will catch up with the chat like 5 to 10 minutes later. So on your night, oh yeah, updates. I'm just going to double check on that all and scream if I have any. Lady Mistleaf, will you start streaming right after the announcement? All right, Lady Mistleaf, by the way, is planning to stream most of her development on this Ludum Dare Jam, so I urge you to follow her or even give her a subscription, because subscribing is caring. This doesn't rhyme at all. It somehow rhymed before I said it, but my brain is not up to speed today. But apparently I'm up to speed because of all the coffee. Workshop Craft says, oh yikes, calling out lurkers. I'm really sorry, the automated unicorn just without rhyme or reason just calls everyone out. So if you're lurking and if you don't react to the automated unicorn, it probably will call you out again once or twice, but I won't unless of course you write in the chat. In that case, thank you so much for dropping by, and thank you so much for lurking. Yeah, jazz music would be cool. Oh dear, I don't have jazz. Maybe this is a bit too mellow. This music. Norse Woods. This is my Skyrim sound alike. I got Silent Thrill. This is my Silent Hill kinda inspired music. What's a nice chill track? Oh yeah, maybe this one, with the one which I always start my streams with. I think this one should be chill. Cursibu says W11 inbound, exterminate, stop resisting. And VAG left redeemed highlight their message, and let's all agree to go watch her stream afterwards. This would be fine. You know what? Please remind me to do a raid over to Lady Mistleaf, because I always think maybe I should do a raid to someone, and then I always forget. Because I'm super bad at wrapping things up, as is probably apparent if you've watched these streams for quite a long time, because I just don't want to say, okay, thanks for joining by, and then throw everyone out. So yeah, this is why I'm doing things wrong, apparently. But yeah, let's all just pile on Lady Mistleaf's stream and steal ideas from her. I'm kidding, mostly. Oh dear, I left to go get supper and now I'm mentioned. Lol. This is always the thing. As soon as someone leaves, or at least I know it with me when I'm watching streams at work, and I don't know when someone pops in and I have to mute the stream, and then this is sometimes when I'm mentioned on stream, and then I come back and think, what the hell just happened? Why is everyone hating me? Frank, can you come up with a jazz tune in an hour? Not with a jazz tune, because you know what? Actually, I came up with a jazz tune in 1 hour, and this was for one stream. Let me switch over to my desktop. Beautiful mouse pointer, horrible camera. It's me again. Because I wanted to do a little segment where I just play simulation games, where we just play simulation games on my stream and chill. So I called this Sim and Chill, and I had the idea 1 hour before the stream started, and I thought it's a nice segment. It needs music, it needs visuals, it needs a transition, and this is what I came up with. Let me find it. Do I have it here? Sim and Chill. Yes, of course I have it here. I have a bad feeling that it didn't play at 60 FPS and you just had lots of dropouts. Yeah, this is probably because I have it in losslessly compressed as a video, but I can show you how it actually should sound. Full motion videos, and yeah, the music jingle, and yeah, pretty much everything of that was done within 1 hour. And so yes, I think I can come up with a jazzy tune in 1 hour, but it's not going to be very long. motion design, streaming assets, clips, symmetry. Yeah, so here it's again hopefully without the dropouts. Yeah, not very long, but in fact, yes, I can apparently come up with something jazzy in 1 hour. Neoro says, I followed her and will be check out. Wonderful. Lady Misleaf is very fun to watch, and you will learn quite a lot in terms of JavaScript development, which I didn't quite understand that it was a thing until I tried it this year for the quiz before the stream, and also the countdown before. Yeah, it's quite fun. It's quite fun. Never knew how fun HTML5 thingy was doing. HTML5 things do. You know what I mean. I plan on starting either when Phil stops or at 7 if he decides to continue. I have no idea what 7 constitutes on your corner of the world, but if I continue, probably just for 10 minutes, because then I need my focus time. VirGLab, is it strange I have 1.2 kilobits? I have no idea what this means. And Lady Misleaf says, totally steal ideas. Thank you so much. You can take it back. Sorcerer says, Lady Misleaf, I'll check out your stream over the weekend. Wonderful, wonderful. More viewers for you, Lady Misleaf. That's always great. Neuro is the first thing I do after I got the theme and no idea. Checking Twitch streams. Yeah, I mean, sometimes there's... what was this stream that I was watching? Essentially, it was a just chatting stream, but the person just came up with, oh my god, when was this, 2 months or so ago, but it was just coming up with silly premises for stories, and I thought, oh, this is comedy gold, and also it's game dev gold, because some of those you could twist into mechanics. Maybe I should have saved it or remembered it or anything. Yeah, I'm bad with brain stuff. And No Skill redeemed Unicorn. Thank you so much for No Skill. I think you have skill. OCE. It could use some polish. It did not go as planned, says VRGLab. I just followed you. The music didn't sound like Phil music, because it did sound like it choked a little. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that sounded like it hated the theme. I'm not going to let someone use me, says Mr. Julius. But I mean, you're Polish and everyone loves the Polish. Did you know that Poland has, after Japan, the highest transfer rate on the stock market, or the highest saturation of game companies right after Japan outside of the US? I think I've read this somewhere. So yeah, this is buy CD Projekt stocks. There you go. Never thought I would say this. Much better. Yeah, cool. Though it was good that I didn't just play it there where it just choked on its own compression. Sorry, 7 is a theme announcement, which is about an hour from now. Is it? Yeah, it's 1 hour and 9 minutes, at least if my atomic clock is to be trusted. So 7 LML time is midnight for you, I think. Exactly, it's midnight sharp, essentially. So this is super easy to plan in a calendar. You just mark 2 days and you're gone and you're done. But for me, what I don't like about it, that it's 3 hours earlier, is to me always it feels like midnight. Okay, once midnight passed, panic mode. I need to get into panic mode, and this is also when I feel I'm getting the most creative at night, is around midnight. But now it's submission hour, and I should have finished things before that. So yeah, the October jams are always a bit frantic for me. Not kilobits, 1,000 bits. Oh, 1,000 bits. It's 1 kilobit then. Oh dear. Unicorn flakes. Thank you so much. Lady Misleaf, I encourage stealing ideas since watching your keynote. Even if the idea is the same, the implementation will not be, and it will become your own game. Exactly. It's like with books and premises, right? where, I mean, even with James Bond movies, where someone said, essentially it's always the same story. It's always the same story, but it differs between who's playing Bond, who is playing the villain, how is everything written. But in the end, the premise is weird guy tries to take over the world, and Bond doesn't allow it. The end. Right, but it's the how and everything. So essentially, I always feel that when I'm taking someone else's kernel of an idea, I always feel like I said before, I feel like this is not right. I just stole this idea, even if when I put my own spin on it. I mean, this is essentially the theme, right? You give everyone the same kernel of an idea and just see how it evolves for every individual person, right? But it's just something personal with me. Yep, same. It's not about stealing, it's more about inspiration. And Bolto is gifting 1 tier 1 sub to Pixel Prophecies community. Thank you so much for gifting a subscription. And Shaggy Fox Dev was the recipient. Thank you so much for this. Cheers to you, Bolto 721. No, it's not 721. Where did this one come from? Probably because I've read gifting 1 tier 1. So it's really appreciated. Thank you so much. By the way, did you know that when you're an Amazon Prime customer, if you have the subscription, you can subscribe also to one Twitch streamer, because Amazon and Twitch, they're the same, under the same management, right? So this is something that I've learned from Joey Prink's stream, by the way. Lady Mistleaf, mind you, I don't see how someone can replicate Decentris without actually copying it. I mean, in the end, you could do it in 3D and call it Blocktris or Block Decentris. Maybe that. You're very welcome, Phil and Shaggy Fox Dev. Again, thank you so much. It really, really means a lot when people subscribe to this mad, rambling, hyperactive person there on the internet, just randomly spewing nonsense out of your browser. Hadik says, do you will review final round themes? What do you like and what sucks? No. Short question, no. Long answer is probably because I will put myself, as we say here in German, there is a saying, I put myself into hell's kitchen, or in the devil's kitchen, where it says you say something that you're probably going to regret later. And if I rate themes and I think, this one, I think this would be a great theme, so it won't come in the end out as the final theme. And then it is. And suddenly I realize all the ideas that I thought I had, just as soon as you try to grasp them, they just evaporate. So I'm not going to rate the finalist themes. I'm sorry, because to me, myself, I want to stay as little influenced as possible by the themes. When I know in the final rounds which themes are likely to come up, I already have some. Some notions where I feel, this would be good if it came, but it probably won't come. And oh my God, please not this, please not this, please not this. And I'm a little bit on the side of where I feel like I could jinx it just from thinking that maybe if I feel that this, when I'm giving, my God, this sounds now super esoteric. When I'm giving the universe bad vibes about a certain theme, it will come back and haunt me. So I just don't want to occupy myself with looking at the finalists. I will just look at the theme that will be chosen in the end and think, that's about right. Of course, this kind of theme would be chosen. So that long answer to a very short question. Look, you have finally finished reading the chat. I did my best. And New Horror subscribed with Prime Gaming like a pro. Thank you so much for your subscription. Again, I raise my dirty glass. I'm really sorry. I don't know how I get my glasses that dirty. Probably because I also drink milk out of the same glass. Don't do this. Or do this. I mean, I'm not your mom. Will you tell us what you think of the theme before you end the stream? Yes, of course. I will give you my first very candid impressions or opinions, because I'm a super opinionated person on what I feel or what my first thoughts on the stream are. So the only thing the only thing that I need to do 2 minutes before the announcement is to switch on the camera, because of course Ludum Dare Postmortem. I've already set up the camera, so because this is the first time where I'll be live on the air or on the cables on the interwebs to stream my reaction to the theme. So yeah, you will get a super candid, super reaction from me, and yeah, and then I will end the stream and I will send you all over to Lady Mistleaf and have her dish out ideas for everyone. Isn't that right? Did I get this right? I hope I did. Sir Onionan says I should have avoided looking at the themes. They got me nervous. Exactly. I mean, you put it much better in words than I had. Did you release any postmortems lately, Pixel Prophecy, says Sorceress? Not yet, no, because I'm still working, as always, I'm still working on the postmortem. I think I'm somewhat halfway through with the Decentris postmortem, because this time I thought I'd do things differently. I've talked about this, I think, in the last stream. In short, before that, I usually started with a very rough cut and then just used temp music and then switched out the temp music for actual music, because finding music takes hours for some reason still. And then you realize, with the music it doesn't really work, and then you go back again, and you have to essentially just rip open the asphalt and open the road again and start over. And I thought, no, this time I start everything just more or less perfect from the get-go, which means if I need a piece of music that doesn't fit, I make this music that fits the length and the tone. And also if I need visual effects or motion graphics, I will stop everything what I'm doing and just finish those motion graphics that go into that part and then continue. And this is why, yeah, I'm currently halfway through with the next postmortem, and I was a bit occupied at work, because usually sometimes I have a couple of hours downtime at work at week where something is rendering and I can do some editing on my laptop. But yeah, things have slowed down, sadly. I plan on having a big brainstorm with everyone, says Lady Mistleaf, so don't miss it. But I hope people will pitch in. Yeah, always. Of course, please pitch in. It's with streaming, it's like everywhere in life where you have a nice conversation or a nice relationship with people. It's giving and taking. It's not just one or the other. So absolutely, please pitch in your ideas. And as we always know, there are no wrong ideas, because they can't be worse than the theme already is. All your ideas belong to us. Headroom, I think, says Sorceress. What did I miss? There was so much before. Oh, right. Sorceress mentioned me twice, and I skipped a lot of the stream. So VRG Lab says, yeah, you got it right. I don't know what, but thank you so much for telling me that I got something right. This means a lot to me, because many teachers told me I got things wrong. Mostly mathematics teachers. Oh dear, the pressure, says Lady Mistleaf. I don't think I'm fit to be the idea person. You don't have to be. Together you create more ideas than any single one of you will have made. And this is, I think the French call it the je ne sais quoi. I hope I didn't mangle this now. Interface BE, probably. Are you from Belgium? Interface says, same. I usually try not to think too much about the themes. The pressure of time somehow helps. Plus, it's more disappointing if you have an awesome idea and then the theme isn't chosen. Exactly. And then you try to shoehorn email. You try to shoehorn that idea somehow into the other theme, and it kind of doesn't work, and then you become all frustrated. I've had this before, I think. You can steal ideas from the chat too, says Frank. Exactly. This is maybe something I could... yeah, again, I feel bad if even if it's not stealing, even if someone offers and says, yeah, hey, this is something, maybe it works for you, and I think, yeah, this is really good, I can't take it, even from Connie or pretty much anyone else. I feel like I have to come up with an idea myself, and probably this is one of the flaws why I'm not finishing. Pixel Prophecy, which was the postmortem set in the 1930s? This is LD42, and it's set in 1948. So off by 18 years, but yeah, still working on that. The actual production has slowed down somewhat because I need to reshoot a scene. because I know myself, what I had shot before was kinda okay, but some things didn't work, and in post would probably have made things much worse and took probably weeks. We're talking weeks that would have taken them longer than to do a reshoot. The problem is the location I don't have available anymore, and I need to find somehow the time and the location for the reshoot. So this is probably why I'll be looking 2 years older in one scene or two scenes than I do for the rest of the movie. But since everything should be black and white, I think I can somehow get away with it. But yeah, it's still in development, and I'm still super proud of it when it will be done. But right now I always feel like the postmortems, the current postmortems should come out before that, essentially. I plan on having a big brainstorm with everyone, says Lady Mischief. Right, all your ideas belong to us, and I'm completely behind the chat again by 3 minutes now. It's not that bad. And Opapi is here. Welcome, Opapi. Thank you so much for joining. No wrong ideas. You don't know what goes on in my head. And Interface B says, Belgium, yes, but I live in the US. Oh, mind blow. This is... I'm seeing waffles, but also waffle houses. Oh, my God. The clash of cultures. You didn't manage je ne sais quoi, says Lady Misleaf, and I'm really sorry about that. I'm lucky and have a hubby that can come up with good ideas when I'm stuck, but he's not always available when the theme drops. Maybe you need what the cool kids have. I've learned the cool kids have something that they call a pager, where you can call this pager and your telephone number shows up and you can call them on their landline or cell phone. It's sometimes you even reach a fax. It's marvelous. So maybe it's something that I should probably look into it if I need to get the hang on some people, because the carrier pigeon doesn't quite find their address. Well, I was wrong with my guess on which post-mortem it was, says Virgin Lab. Look, 2 years older. Moisturizer! Exactly. I mean, right now I'm quite happy that people don't really see that much that I'm going on to the big 4-0. But so far, I think moisturizer and when you worry, just don't wrinkle your forehead. Just go like this. Oh dear. This is much better than mark my words. I said you didn't mangle. You said it right. Oh, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't. This is when I was doing my driving test, and the driving instructor said on the next turn take a right, and I went left, and it just marked one thing there, and then I panicked. So this is with doing things and not doing things, somehow those are very closely related in my brain, or at least when I read something or try to read it correctly. Pager, okay, boomer. Well played. You could easily still be in late 20s. Oh, thank you so much. Oh dear, now I'm blushing. Thank you. I had a pager at one of my jobs, says Lady Misleaf. It was a temp position and they didn't want to splurge on a cell for me. They gave me an old pager their employees used to use. Oh, this is it. I know this. When you arrive at a job and you get some other person's old equipment. I mean, I work at Red Bull, and even there, I mean, they're super fancy. I got a MacBook and an iPhone, where I said, I don't need a MacBook nor an iPhone. And I said, yep, we know, you will get one anyway. But what I didn't get was a mouse. And then finally, somehow from property, I got a mouse, and it was still registered to the person. And I knew the person's name, and they left like 2 years prior, and I still got their mouse, and it was all dinged up and so on, and it felt like, yeah, it really felt weird. Like if you have siblings and they grow out of certain clothes, and now they're yours, so your cool older brother's shirt is now your shirt until you outgrow it. You don't look a year over 30 by 32 pixels, says Cursey-Poo. Oh, that was clever. That was very clever. It doesn't make sense, this drum thing, but That was clever. Thank you. Pagers are getting better at getting a signal. Yeah, this is like with what we had here, the old D signal, which was for car phones and such. My dad used to have one of those, and it felt like an army phone, and also it felt like you were phoning to the moon and back, because there was also a delay of 2 or 3 seconds, but you had reception everywhere because this thing was a huge, I think, transponder or something. So yeah, things were better in the old times. My God, how long have I been streaming, and we're already at that? So yeah, this is clearly boomer television, and yeah, because I'm not on television, boomers probably won't be seeing this anyway. I did the same thing. And Virgil Lab says, I thought you were mid-20s. Now you just try to get me to blush, and it kind of works. Lady Miscliff said, I did the same thing on my driving test, only told me to go left and I went right. Yeah, maybe it was also go left and go right. I don't know quite what the situation or what the direction was. I know that I went into the wrong one, and I just heard him, and I thought, shit, this is not going to be my day. In the end, I managed to get it done, but I think I was sweating like 2 gallons. Hey, decided to keep me after the tech position, and then I got my cell. That's nice. So they have you at your job at a position where you don't get the fancy stuff, and then as soon as you climb up the ranks and your tech, well, of course you need cool tech, right? That's nice. or temp position, tech, temp. Now I'm confused. We're not boomers. Everything was better in the old days. Yeah, everything was better in the old days. But shooters were better in the old days, and by shooters I'm talking about Space Invaders. Now I don't know what I'm talking about. Sir Onion says, I'm really surprised that this stream isn't in 4:3 black and white. Usually I have if you have programmed your VCR or your parents' VCR correctly, then it probably will show up in 4:3 there, but also with video text or teletext, as we used to call it here. Does anyone remember teletext? It was like pixel art, but with TV programming. Weird. I still have my VCR. Okay, boomer talk. I also still have my VCR, and my VCR is a SVHS VCR, so that's super video home system. And this essentially was just the hottest shit back then, when from the first money that I got from my summer job that I got me this video recorder. And I think it was around 2000-ish, because I know this was before we got the euro as a currency, where in Austria we still got the Austrian shillings, and I bought it with Austrian shillings, and I still got it, and I still route my analog signals from the NES through it. So yeah, this is some old talk. By the way, you've already probably seen it in one of my postmortems where I did the Phil at Nintendo in 1982, 83, I don't know what year it was, but Phil at Nintendo in the 80s. So this was the video recorder that actually ate the VHS tape there. I've got a VCR in the closet. Hey, this is nice. And teletext, old school internet. My God, anyone still remembers teletext? Because I do, and we even had in Austria, we even had a chat room on teletext. And well, how does this work? Because you can't really interact with it apart from just choosing the page. The thing was, you send a text over your cell phone, and then it shows up in the teletext, and this is how you can communicate. My God, was this horrible. I remember video text still is a thing for some people here in Germany. It still is also, I think, in the UK. You even got, also in Austria, I think there's even an app for your phone where you can get the Austrian teletext still. And what I really liked about it is sometimes there were some teletext art contests, and they were just some clever pixel art, which if you look at video text or teletext pixel art, you find something, because there are still artists doing pixel art on teletext that haven't heard about console pixel art. It's interesting how this is. It's so closely related, but still different worlds. My dad had an old tiny projector with original Charlie Chaplin films, says Virgilab. Oh my god, this is something. This could be already worth something. If you find a boomer hipster and sell them original Charlie Chaplin things, I'm just thinking, is this probably still on 8mm film reel, right? Amazing. And Sorcerer says, Minitel, right? Minitel, I've heard this before. I don't have a VCR. I do have a 60mm projector, though. Does that count? Yes, Frank, it does absolutely count. 60mm. Oh, I remember RTL chat. Also still there are dumb people that used it. Says New Oro. Yeah, I think as soon as they realized that, my god, they can get so much money from just people sending SMS, or as we call it, SMS texts, because of course you had to pay for them, and it wasn't cheap, right? Because you paid for each single one. You didn't have a flat rate, at least I didn't have back then. My god, old times. And Sir Onion Knight says, I remember trying to record a Dragon Ball Z marathon on my VCR and changing my TV to the input for my PlayStation, spending all day playing Final Fantasy VIII and realizing at the end of the day that I recorded a blank screen. Oh, this is so sad. I think people who have pretty much everyone who had used an VCR has at least one of the stories where it says, I really thought that I recorded this, but it didn't work out because I set the wrong time for the recording. I recorded the wrong channel. It was on the wrong input. For some reason, it didn't start. There was a power outage or something. So this is VCR. This is the good old times that we so dearly miss, which no one does. Thank you so much, YouTube. Thank you so much, streaming, that whenever I feel I want to watch this old show from the 80s again, you don't have to wait for it. You don't have to dig through your VHS tapes to see if you get a crummy copy of the first 15 minutes of your favorite Alf episode. You just go onto your streaming service and there it is. My god, we're living in a beautiful utopia. Well, that and all the crap with Facebook. Minitel was the internet thing available in France via special terminals you could hire from the phone company. This was long before the 3 dubs. Yeah, Minitel in France, this is, France is, from what I know, they had this with Minitel, essentially pretty much a bulletin board system. You could buy tickets from there. It was, as you said it before the internet, the downside was this was just only France, and it was, I think, through a state agency like the postal service or something. So it wasn't quite peer-to-peer, but it was long before everyone was using the internet. And I think with France also they had their what was the computer, that the Auric, of course, that they had. So it was pretty insular in terms of what everything was going on everywhere else in the world, because they were always a little bit special. Then, of course, they caught up with also the PC games and French PC games from the 80s. They are super weird because they're technically quite well, artistically impeccable, and from the game mechanics, even if you've read the manuals, you still end up scratching your heads. I don't know what this was about. Who would have thought that this would work? But it's so much creativity and so much character. Minitel was also a thing. Yeah. Catching up. Sadly, got to go, says Opapi. Have a great night. Thank you so much for dropping by. I still got a cassette player, says Cursey-Boo. Oh, good old tape cassettes. Yeah, but it was a big goof. Minitel was the internet thing in France. Have no time to compete, uni and work, but thank you and good luck to everyone here. Oh my god, work and university. I actually took a couple of days off. I took off today and also Monday and Tuesday because I know that I'm wasted after post-mortem. Post-mortem, yeah, of course I'm wasted after post-mortem, but also after the actual jam. So this is why I've wisened up and took 2 days off now. At least I hope it was the Friesa, or I fight, since I was basically the same thing for 10 episodes. I have no idea about Dragon Ball Z, so please excuse me for butchering the name. Sonia Knight, we will never know since it never recorded anyway. And the Frieza fight for this planet will explode in 5 minutes, 10 episodes later. Yeah, this is what I recall about Dragon Ball Z. Essentially, one episode was just, it felt a bit like a slideshow where they just cut back and forth and, oh my god, he's still charging. Oh, what should we do? Oh my god, we're all doomed if this doesn't work out. Something like this. And it was just one episode. And yeah, as you said, it will explode in 5 minutes and they stretched it for 10 episodes. This plan is more sturdy than I thought. I give it another 2 minutes. Loud, frustrated screams heard throughout the house. Yeah, you can essentially can compress one season into 5 minutes of actual action, right? Lint for DP says, do you think some genres lend themselves to quick jams better than others? Any favorite genres? Oh, that's a good question. I think, yeah, of course, it always depends. I think if you want to make something like an RPG, it's going to be problematic for a jam unless you have a solid framework or template already, because I feel with traditional RPGs like Dungeons and Dragons, because there are so many systems at play that have all work together and essentially rely on a lot of testing to get the balance right, to be fun. I think those could be probably the most problematic things, or essentially, yeah, pretty much anything where you have a lot of systems that need to come together and interact in just the right way, because with jams you don't have the time for testing and most likely not the manpower, the person power for testing. So I think this would be something that's hard. On the other hand, is what is, I feel, quite easy to do. I mean, depending on what your background is programming wise, I would say is narrative experiences, because if you can write it down in Twine and just have a couple of things where the story branches, I think this would be probably the easiest. But then again, if your forte is not writing, but let's say a physics programming, it doesn't really help you this much. But if you do physics programming, you can make something like a physically correct Tetris. I mean, there already is such a thing like this, but I think, yeah, it always comes down in what your background is and where you already got enough experience, where you can feel like, yeah, I can wing this even without enough testing. I know how certain things or mechanics will play out. And with others, again, if it needs testing or fine tuning, balancing, then those are the hardest things for jams, I would say. Yerzy Isek is here. Hello, ladies, gentlemen, unicorns. Is it that part of the year again? Yes, it is. We still got 40 minutes. It's the countdown to doom. So welcome and thank you so much for dropping by. Every battle in Dragon Ball Z is episodes of them talking about power levels. Yeah, I've heard someone's power level was over 9,000. And now talking about this meme in 2021 clearly dates me. Try to make a feature-length FMV game in a 48-hour jam. I could make it feature-length. It wouldn't be very interesting. And you wouldn't have a lot of choices, but I think what would break it is that I try to convert all the video in 48 hours that it fits in something that's less than 1 gigabyte or something. I think this would be probably the problem. Sorcerer said, how do you feel about Ludum Dare going to 4 jams per year? Talking about things about to break, it would kill me. Before I was full-time employed, I thought three episodes, 3 events a year are quite a lot if I want to do a post-mortem for each of them. Now that I'm luckily full-time employed and also got some more responsibilities at work, I don't have much time as I used to have. And this is really bothering me, because when I got some time to spare, I'm just super exhausted and just can play 1 hour of, I don't know, right now I'm playing Deathloop and it's oddly relaxing. But yeah, with 4 jams a year, I probably wouldn't be able to partake in at least 2 of them probably, because it's just too much. And I also think that I wouldn't. I mean, if I would be playing all Ludum Dare games at the end as I do right now, which is for twice a year, it's quite manageable. But if I do this 4 times a year and then after each post-mortem, I'm using the terms Ludum Dare, Game Jam, and post-mortem interchangeably, as you've clearly realized now. If I do 3 weeks or 4 weeks of playing and rating games after each event, then I probably wouldn't have enough time for doing all the post-mortems as well. Probably. I'm on one hand, I'm super stoked that Ludum Dare is like 4 times a year. From a purely, if I wouldn't be doing all the postmortems, right? If I wouldn't try to make documentaries about them, because when I think I don't make a documentary, but I will just partake and see what comes out. I have this feeling that as soon as I don't switch on the camera, the weirdest, the best, most amazing, most crazy things are going to happen, where I feel, I should have made a postmortem about this one, because this one is really interesting and the other one is just the same old stuff that I did before, right? So I probably it would break me. Simply put, it would break me. But this again, just saying from the perspective of producing postmortems. When I wouldn't be producing postmortems and just making games, 4 times a year, Ludum Dare is great. I mean, luckily we're in a position now as hobby and indie devs that there are enough game jams at any given moment. Most of them are just like 3 or 4 people or 3 or 4 entries. But with Global Game Jam and Ludum Dare and all the other jams happening, I think if you want to be pushed to make a game, but you don't really feel like you're part of a community somewhere, where you feel like I need this extra motivation, this extra push to do something, and then there's twice as many Ludum Dares, where you get the entire world, like with the Global Game Jam, but also digitally. You don't have to leave your home, but if you're connected to the web, the entire world is jamming with you, and this gives you a wonderful sense of community. And to have this twice as much is great. So from that perspective, I very much like it if there are more postmortems, more Ludum Dares happening, but I probably can't cover them all. So let me finish my chat. That is again 5 minutes behind. Thanks to ADHD, I just zoned out and have forgotten everything that happened in the last 10 minutes. It's okay, Virgil Lab. I don't think that I'm repeating myself anyway, so you're good, I think. Tis, says Lady Sleep to Jerzek. I felt it in my bones. So who's streaming during the weekend? And Lady Misleaf is. And not as much time, not as much brain power. I know that's how I would feel with more responsibilities. Yeah, it's more draining than I would have thought. I'm not 20 anymore, where I can just pull 3 one-nighters or pull 3 all-nighters and then just sleep for one night and then do it all over again, where I feel like I need more time to recharge my batteries now. And of course, then again, what I don't want to lose is this gleeful naivete about doing things where I think, would it just be nice to have something like, I don't know, a bit where I play some guy in Nintendo in 1983, and then I really can go for it because I have this weird idea that I really wanted to get it done and want to push myself to do this. I want to get it in there because I feel it's funny or stupid or just interesting or just people will love it if it's a nice surprise if they see it. And this is also why I thought that I would be working on the postmortem during my streams, but then again I felt like I don't want to spoil things. I really want to prepare a perfect meal for you and then surprise you when I come out with the entree for everything, and then the big main dish, and then like 3 courses of dessert at the end. My God, where was I? I don't remember. So it's okay. I'm also, you know me, I ramble, I tend to ramble, and thank you for not stopping me. Or maybe you did, but I haven't scrolled. I have a job with varying days off, so I'll likely end up skipping LDs here and there, says Onion Knight. I used to have this when I was working part-time. It was super irregular. Sometimes I would even work on the weekend, sometimes I didn't. So I never knew when I had some free time, and this was nice because I never went into this trap of where it's just the same every day, just too much routine. And right now it kind of is, but at least it's not draining. It's still stimulating mentally and creatively, but then again it feels like I have this idea that I want to do maybe a pixel painting or something, but I know I can't do this until the weekend when I'm not too exhausted to do this. So yeah, this is something that I a bit underestimated. You'd have to do mini documentaries, says Lady Miss Leaf. I can't do mini documentaries. I want to do mini documentaries, but I always feel like I don't want to leave that out, and it's more interesting if I have this one. And you probably have noticed that my postmortems, they started out with just a couple of minutes. Like I think the first one was like 6-8 minutes or so, and it was just some impressions. And now I have this this feeling that I need to have it like a documentary. I want to have everything in there, at least everything that's important, and not miss out on something. And this is why it takes as long as it takes, and also it plays for as long as it plays for. Like I think the last one was almost 30 minutes, because I never know how long it's going to be until I've finished with the script and recorded it, and then I see how long just the voiceover is, and this will be my rough estimate of how long our postmortem is going to be. And yeah, I talk a lot. I really talk a lot. I mean, been talking for 1 hour and 26 minutes for now. Well, not the entirety of it. Maybe I was talking. Never mind. You see where this is going. And I have really troubles to keep it short. Maybe this would be interesting. A nice challenge for me to just keep it short. Maybe this could work. I'm not quite sure. Lin4DP, I think it depends what engine you start with. Oh, what have I missed? I've missed here something, but Lint4DP, sorry, I haven't realized. Are you actually doing the LD this time? Phil wants to make full-length documentaries, says Liam. Exactly. And I just got another email. Beautiful. Right. I'm just scrolling up and down the chat now, which means I'm lost. I ask because generally I will pick a genre I'd like to make before the theme is announced, and then fit the theme into that genre. That's interesting. That's an interesting approach, because as for me, I feel like my idea is super pristine, and I want my idea to be super pure, and from the idea everything else gets decided. So it's not like the only thing that's comes from the outside, not from the ideas, of course, the theme, but apart from that, the idea is pure and just it works outwards from it. Then of course it would be, as some jams has this as topic, it's maybe something like do something with this engine and not more than 12 objects and 8 colors or something, or make a top-down shooter where the theme is, I don't know, penguins. So this would be maybe something that I also could see myself with, also constraining myself to a certain genre of game. But then again, I would feel like, if it's too clear, if it's too constricting in a sense, the theme, then pretty much all the games, the entries will look very much alike, and you really have to go through with a fine comb and to see what the differences are. Because Because I've seen this somewhere where on was it a game jam? I think it was a game jam, but it was not online. It was an offline game jam where the theme was like something like I said before, don't use more than 12 objects, and 2 of them, one has to be, I don't know, a barrel, and the other a dog or something, and it has to involve logging mechanics, where you are a lumberjack, logging mechanics and so on. In the end, pretty much everyone made, it felt like everyone made a 2D version of Minecraft or Don't Starve or something. So yeah, my point is, if there is a point, with themes, it's super hard. If it's too constricting, every entries look the same, and it feels like when you're doing something, it doesn't feel like your thing. And of course, if it's too open, you feel like, but it could be anything. This is personally my biggest problem that I have with Ludum Dao themes, because it's a weird mix of that. I feel it's, on one hand, it's too constricting, but on the other hand, it's just too wide for me to find the kernel of the idea. And I think with those themes I struggled the most. Then of course comes the follow-up question, well, Smarty Pants, what would be a good theme then for you? And I think I've thought a lot about this, and as you know, I'm a big fan of puns, or at least where things you could, depending on how you look at things, they are differently. For example, as an idea would be something that you could either read at face value or just I'm trying to come up with an example now. Maybe some words that sound alike or look alike but can mean different things. For example, I don't know, let's 2 for 1. This could be maybe a good theme, I feel, because Again, I'm probably saying something, and then in the end it will be something like 2 for 1, and then I say it's a horrible theme, because it is really hard to make this clear. But I hope I can get the gist of my point across. Is that something that depending on. Yeah, it's like one of those optical illusions. If one person sees something else than the other person sees it, like a Rorschach test, right? So those themes I like best, because you can clearly see different approaches to something. And other themes that I would feel are good themes are themes that are very personal, in a sense, where you're almost guaranteed to have very different takes of all the people who partake. For example, if the theme would be your hometown, for example, it would be super interesting to see how people depict their hometown or set a game in their hometown from completely different parts of the world. Because so far, pretty much everything in gaming, at least in AAA gaming, I feel, is like 90% is US centric. I don't know how often I've run through Los Angeles or New York or have seen the White House in games, especially the Call of Duty games, because or the typical suburb, right? So it feels like if there's something that really in game jams motivates people to do something that is completely off, that hasn't been done in games before, I feel those are the most interesting things and the most interesting outcomes. My God, let me catch up now with the chat again. My favorite postmortem bit is the black and white 1930s vignette of The Cellar. Oh, thank you so much. This was, I think, always was. I have a fun time doing remakes, visual remakes of something, where something looks like it was filmed on 1930s film stock, where something looks like it was filmed off a bad CRT or something. I don't know why, or taken with a bad camera, because I like it to see if I can get this wonderful, pristine computer rendition of something to look like it was dirty and analog back then, with all the things that are involved. Because from my job I work a lot with cameras, digital cameras and digital video and films and so on. So it's always fun to get everything right, that even if an expert looks at things and says, this looks like, I know it can't be, but it looks like it was shot on on some Kodak 5613A film stock, but it can't be, but it looks like it. Yeah, you know what I mean. I'm thinking of making a text adventure this time, says Frank. Go for it. Give it a try. Maybe you like it. Maybe you like it. Sorceress, I always found it hard trying to shoehorn a theme into a genre I'd already decided on. Yeah, I mean, to me, like I said, it feels wrong somehow, but it also feels a bit like cheating, at least to me personally. And so this is why I want to stay clear of this, and also because the worst thing is if you have a wonderful idea for a theme that's not chosen. I think we've had this in the chat half an hour before, and you have a super great idea for this, and then another theme is chosen, and now all you're trying to is how I can manage to shoehorn this in. So yeah. Jerry here says something like "it follows you" or "IT follows you." Yeah, have you tried turning it off and on again? Make a game based on a double entendre. Oh, Sir Onion Knight. Yeah, exactly. Something along those lines. You're an office worker who breaks computers. And IT guys follow you and yelling you to turn it off and on again. Fire! Exclamation mark. I had a shoehorn in my first LD game as a nod to that. Oh, you know what is sad? You know what's really sad? That now I understand why you put a shoehorn in there. I mean, every other adventure game has a red herring in there, but you had a shoehorn in there, and it took me a year apparently, or even longer, to find out. So thank you for clarifying this. It's great if I can ask the author. And Linford TP says, another thing I've done in the past instead of pre-choosing a theme is to pick 3 of my favorite Amiga 500 games and use one of those as a base for an idea. Yeah, inspiration, as I had with my keynote. It's super hard to, at least for me, it took super long to find, and it still takes quite long to find inspiration or to know where you go to for certain kinds of inspiration. One source of my inspiration is also looking at old games. Retro Gamer magazine is one of my favorite go-tos because it's like a treasure trove also from the layout. Pretty much everything it looks like, because it's not like your standard gaming magazine where they have a preset layout or anything. I mean, of course they do, but with each game they discuss and give background on. Everything in the layout just mimics the style of the game. And so if you go through it, you already have a couple of visual ideas. I'm a very visual person, and this helps me a lot. But coming from mechanics, hot take, warning, I always feel that there haven't been many new genres in the last 10 to 20 years. I mean, of course, they have variations and certain kind of polish when it comes to certain genres, or they really found what the core of the genre, right? But then again, if you played a jump and run in the 80s, what has changed is with the 3D jump and run is just the third dimension. Or if you play an RPG, I mean, now it looks spectacular, but essentially you could have done The Witcher with enough memory on a Commodore 64. Yeah, I know, right? Not entirely, and game feel itself is a big part of how a game feels and looks like it does. But I feel that when you look at old games, another email, my god, this is going crazy, especially at this time of the day. But if you look at old games where you feel like, this was clearly something of a genre there, that somehow didn't survive the test or didn't stand the test of time, where it wasn't an adventure, not really, it was not an action game, it was just its own little thing, and nobody ever did something like this. For example, Lemmings. I mean, of course, there have been many Lemmings clones, but back in the day, was it strategy, but you also had to be quick, but it was more puzzle based, but you had to have a certain sense of skill, and it was indirect control, and so on and so forth. So yeah, I can absolutely understand if you look back at some old precious gems that time has forgotten. And this is also why I'm still a huge fan of old DOS games, because things were much more fluent back then. You didn't advertise as something, the action RPG survival Metroidvania for your, I don't know, MOBA sensibilities. There was not something like that. So pretty much every game, especially if you didn't know a lot about it, was just something super new. And Again, a shout out to the good old DOS Game Club. It's dosgameclub.com, where we play old DOS games, each month another DOS game, and this year is the year of the adventure, by the way, where we play a DOS game and then discuss it in a podcast. And this is something where I always am amazed about what games there are out there that I've never heard of, or games that I've only heard of back then and thought they were the hottest shit, and then listen to the podcast and it was just overhyped. Oh my god. So, okay, good. Catching up with the chat again. I think Doggo wants to play. I will chase her for a bit before all this starts. I'll keep an eye on the time. Wonderful. Greetings to you. Wonderful little Doggo. Neoro says, by the way, the one thing that I want to say, even if you say your game Pony is different or weird, it has something unique what I like. A pony kicking guys in heads. I mean, this is so great. Yeah, I think my problem is overthinking things. With Pony, I didn't think a lot about it. It was just, I made this Pony game, and then I don't know why, I thought, this is not going to be anything interesting or anything great, and then just that, F this, I just cruise around for the weekend and not doing the Ludum Dare, and then somehow I had this idea of, wouldn't it be funny if it's the Counter-Strike Dust 2 map, and the theme was you are the monster, and it's just this cute little chubby pony that just kicks everyone in the head. It's super random, but it's so nice that some people still find something in this, and personally I also still kind of like Pony for what it is, because it's so just like I don't know, unhinged stream of consciousness kind of humor. Maybe I should do this more often. Sorcerer says, Lady Misleaf, people will highlight you as soon as you're AFK. And Lind for DP says, I wasn't paying attention. And the automated unicorn sparkled you, by the way. Compo, unless I become ambitious or something gets horribly wrong, says Lady Misleaf. There's also a thing is, what I get sometimes asked, when I've never done a Ludum Dare, should I go for a compo where I do everything myself, or should I go for the jam? And I always say, if you're not quite sure, go for the jam. You have much more time. You can use things from other sources, and you can even join a team if they need you. But if you feel super cocky and feel like, I think I can tackle this, then go for compo and see how it goes for you. I was super lucky that most of the time I managed to get things done in the compo. I don't know how, but probably it's because I'm just blessed that I find so many things like music, programming, art just are super fun to me, and I enjoy each of those parts. But if you feel like you really hate drawing because you don't like what you draw, I mean, I would say go for it anyway, because you have probably a unique style that I haven't seen before. But then again, of course, if you hate it, it may be better if you just join a team and do the jam and can focus on just one thing. The description of the shoehorn was even, this implement has clearly been used to make a hyperspace treadmill fit the running out of space theme. It wasn't hidden. Come on, Frank, you make this even worse for me. I mean, now I look like the idiot that I am, that I really didn't realize this. Even after reading the description, I think twice. Sorceress replies to Lin for DP, looking through Lemon Amiga's top 100 games list is something I have done for inspiration at the start of some LDs. Okay, people, take note. Look at, what was it? Lemon Amiga's top 100 games. And there's also, of course, c64.org, where you can get all C64 games. And what also is interesting or inspiring to me is looking at screenshots of games that I don't know, where it's just a random screenshot of a random game. And then I feel like, what's important? What does the HUD tell me? What is important to the game that the player always knows, for example, their health, or maybe it's just something that is called, I don't know, baguettes. Okay, maybe this was not a game then, but then your mind starts racing, and for me it always helps if this is something pre-2000s, where the graphics are very simple and very colorful and very bright, because nowadays if I look at something of games, let's say past 2005, and it's a random game, and it's just some brown dudes in camouflage shooting brown dudes with turbans, I think. Yeah, this is not very inspiring in any sense. So yeah, this is why, like I said, always if it's the more retro, the better, because there is much more for you to interpret into it. Adroit Conception says, looks like the automated unicorn is spying on the chat joins on the back end. Exactly, it is. Thank you so much for lurking and for being called out. I'm sorry. There was an entirely different shoehorn in the LD33 game that had the description, this shoehorn has an inscription, it says, greetings from LD42. That one was actually needed for something. Yeah, exactly. I know that I used the shoehorn for something, and it flew completely past me that it was the depiction of shoehorning something in. You're making it much worse for me. Please stop making me embarrassing myself. My God, this is going bad for me. And I made another appearance in LD45 with no use. My God, I really should have picked up on this. Game objects which persist between game jams. This is great. Yeah, right. This is great. Maybe Mike once posted this of this one jammer who made essentially the same characters for each game chamber. It's what I don't know what the character was. It was like Joey Bear in Wonderland, Joey Bear takes a nap, Joey Bear in this big space adventure, something like this. And I found this hilarious of thinking of game jams not as one-off things, but more like, okay, I'm continuing a series. I'm outputting 2 installations of my game each year. It's like Assassin's Creed, just more inspired. Oh, shots fired. Sorcerer says to Frank that you could do it with save games or a code to type in to find in-game objects. I mean, this is already something. I mean, of course, it's not something that you could do easily, but yeah, having certain things persist between game jam games. This is amazing. By the way, we have to have an eye on the clock. It's 11 minutes and 30 seconds. So are you getting excited? Because I know that I'm not, and this worries me a little bit. And the real Alex Parker is here, and good evening. I will also participate for a second time with my mates. Wonderful, and also thank you for feeding the automated unicorn. So I hope you're all ready with your pencils sharpened, where we can hate on the theme for 1 or 2 minutes, and then I will leave you and leave myself to my despair. Sir Onion Nut says, I feel my strength is art, so I'm going to have probably to use a lot of YouTube tutorials and stuff on focus on visuals. Lol. I mean, sure. If you're good at art, just keep the programming side of it light. And this is, like I said, with top-down games or even adventure games, or choose your own adventure games. You can really, if it's just a couple of things of meaningful decisions where you can give the player and the rest is art, or even have the game is the art, maybe a hidden object game or something. You see where I'm thinking in this. VRG Lab says, my strength is programming and system implementation. I don't know why, but I find it fun. I mean, this is wonderful because I can clearly see the appeal of making systems and just make them everything work nice and tidy. C64.org is down. It is down? No, since when? I hope it's just today. Also, why the gray screen for so long? All right, yeah, I wanted to show something, and it has passed. So yeah, probably because I'm shy and I like to be seen in just a tiny little gray window. But now you have to see me just bigger. So I don't know. I'm your essential NPC. So I hope this counts for something. Lint for DAP says, sounds like Dangerous Dave in copyright infringement. Oh, that's interesting. A series of Game Jam games. I'm catching up with the chat now. I'm sorry. It looks like I also reused the treadmill as decoration LD 43 and 45. My God, I should pay much more attention to your games. I'm really curious what you make this time now. Dangerous Dave being the reoccurring id Software character. Yes, and of course the dope fish, right? Don't forget your camera, says VRG Lab. Right, thank you so much. 5 minutes. and in 5 minutes I will switch on the camera. For those who just joined, I have my good post-mortem camera just off this camera here, that I can work this very stream into the post-mortem. Now we'll just set myself a timer. And how does this work? Timer, not 55 minutes, just 5 minutes. And then I will start the camera. Thank you for reminding me. Where was I? Good, and email is here. Thank you so much for dropping by. Any bets on the theme? I don't know, because I didn't vote, because I want to live in blissful ignorance until I see the actual theme. Then, like I said, we'll just shrug it off, switch the camera off, and then despair, and the rest will be in the post-mortem. New Horror says, I am a bit excited but scared of the theme. Yeah. A little bit. I'm always a little bit scared of, where I think, oh my god, what have they chosen? What have they chosen? Also interesting that in this final voting round, there are again some themes from LD48. Final voting, summoning, delivery, one tool, many usages. Oh dear. Really, there are. It never ends, right? It feels like a bit like Groundhog Day, right? Where we're in this time loop and people just keep suggesting the same themes. And Sorceress posted a link to the votes list on Lemon Amiga, so if you're also very much inspired by old Amiga games, check it out. Neora says, one last question, what would be your best theme you hope that comes? I don't know what themes there are. I only know that I slaughtered a sizable amount of them, and I haven't voted this time. I did not vote because I want to stay clear of any influences of themes that may or may not come, and then I feel bad for one theme that I wish that. In short, I have no idea. I can. I don't know what comes. I will just give you my candid first impressions of the theme, and then I will just, like I said, just roll down a little ball and cry, and then make a game. You are welcome for the reminder. Thank you. And 8 minutes, yeah, things are getting real now. I'm going to start my own streams as Lin4DP. See you in 2 days. Good luck, have fun. Thank you so much, and enjoy your stream. And yeah, I hope you have a good, inspired game jam session. So maybe we should find some music that fits this thing. What do I have here? Paranoid. Something that sets the tone that things are getting real. Maybe this year. I'm just, yeah. This is an old song of mine, but maybe it just gives off the right mood. The only question is, will the theme suck? The only answer is, of course it will. The question is just how much and for whom. And ooh, this is good. The music or the stream, or just the overall air of the moment, where this seems about the right mood. Yeah, thank you. The next one should be more rocky. To playback queue. Yeah, I'm just frantically trying to find now good, bad. Yeah, maybe this one. Add to playback queue, and then I think we're all ready. Everything has to end. This is also something good. I'm just adding things to the playback queue now, and then I mean it's a couple of minutes more. Yezek says, "Oh, I need to play the standard LD theme from the legendary Seth Carissa." Oh, thank you so much. You know what? Let's bring this. Let's play this theme right when the theme gets announced, and I will look at it on my big screen here with all of you. If I knew where I have it. Yeah, exactly the same problem that I'm having right now is, where the hell do I have it? And what was it called? Summer movie opening theme. There we go. Okay, good. So I can play this song when the clock strikes midnight, at least where it is for us here. Good idea. Thank you so much, Yuri. Very much appreciated. And again, I'm sorry for mispronouncing your name for the past 4 years. I hope you're not taking it too hard. I'm really sorry. And 33 seconds on the clock before I ran out the timer, so I will start the good camera now. We'll be back in a sec. And there we go. I'm clapping now so that I have a sync point on audio and video on all the cameras and on all the audio sources that I can synchronize them should I feel the need to doing things. Hearing now War Low Rider for preparation reminds me of Gone in 60 Seconds before it starts. If someone wants to calm. Oh, this is nice. Music. This is something I completely forgot to touch on in this stream. And music can be super inspirational. If you're a lyrics person or even if you're not a lyrics person, I just glossed over this entirely. But yeah, if you have a good playlist for Ludum, it's really something to get you in the mood. And at least I for myself know that I always think maybe I should listen to my favorite albums that I listened in certain stages of my life just to get in the right mindset, and then completely forget about them every single time. Maybe this time I will listen to something, but then of course I can't have it in the post-mortem because I don't have the music rights to, I don't know, Radiohead or some other small underground band. Can't have too much sync claps, exactly. No clapper app. Actually, I do have a clapper app, and it's even the one that I made myself, and it's called Clean Slate. And I haven't used it in a while, but maybe this time it should work. 3 minutes, oh my god. You can, when it turns into applause, it's entirely useless. The sync claps, right? Then it's too many. Okay, you know what? I will switch over where we can look at Twitter, and so many mentions. Oh my god, I shouldn't have tweeted at Sam Lake. There we go. Come on. There we go. What's going on in my timeline? Is this good? Is this bad? I don't know. Let's go to home, and is this the latest tweets show? Okay, good. Because I think once this happened to me, where I thought, why is the theme? Where's the theme? Why is this theme not showing up? Because somehow Twitter reset it to seeing the top tweets, showing me the top tweets first. Okay, 1 minute now. Things are getting real. Where do I have music that says things are getting real? This one here. Okay, good. Twitter is faster than the LD page. It's always faster. I always look at Twitter for the theme announcement. It's more likely to respond exactly because we're clearly and constantly DDoSing the LD Jam page because everyone wants to know the theme at the very same time. 30 seconds, ladies, gentlemen, unicorns. And of course, yeah, there's the newsletter, says Sorceress. Yeah, of course, there's also a newsletter, and I don't trust my email clients. So nothing wrong with Control-R or F5 if you're old school. Okay, so on my end, it's 10 seconds. 5 seconds. Boys and girls, we're about to witness history and unicorns. Okay, so on my clock, the theme for Ludum Dal 49 is unstable. Unstable. I hate it. I really hate it. I hate it. But you know what? The picture reminds me of Austria. Either it's Switzerland or Austria, because I think I know those mountains. So, yeah. What do you think? What do you think? I feel like Phil is getting unstable. Yeah. My God, it sucks. It really sucks. But yeah, we can't do anything about this. So, unstable. First ideas, fun physics game where everything is unstable. The other thing is where you have to manage a person that is very unstable or it's a game with horses that you have to put in stables, but they are dead horses. They're undead, so you have to put them in unstables. Take it for what it's worth. And the Relax Parker says, well, good luck, Pixel Prophecy, gotta go brainstorming. Yes, and I absolutely hate the theme. It's so nice to know that I'm not the only one. I hoped it not be one of the one word that says good in email, and I can only agree. The more words, words you have to work with, the easier things will get. Oh dear, it's one of my trademark double face palms, because this head there's a face palm and this is assist face palm. So that's the point that I am right now emotionally. So yeah, well, good luck on whatever game you make. Thank you, and I can also extend this to every one of you. And let's have a look at Lady Misty-Leaf, who hopefully should have started her stream so that I can send you over to raid her stream. How does raiding work? This is how little I know of Twitch. I'm really sorry. So raid channel there. This looks nice, and Lady Misleaf is there, and currently with 0 viewers. So I hope I can send you over to her, show her some love, show her some inspiration, and also don't be shy. Please talk in the chat, because we all need everyone else's help, because this is going to be a super unstable thing. So yeah, with that I can say thanks so much, good luck, and see you on the other side. And I have to click raid now apparently. And /raid when you have to accept something in your settings. I have no idea, but thank you so much for helping this old person figure out how this newfangled VCR works. The 1200 is still blinking on my end. I'm feeling unstable now. Have a great night, have a great weekend, and see you soon. Shit. Cool. How does this... yeah. Stop recording. And stop streaming, yeah, of course.